Hey everybody! There's just not enough hours in the day, that's why I have to do a video while my hair dries. But this is kind of a little continuation of my nail polish video before, which was not about nail polish obviously, it was about gender characteristics and tastes and what we like and why and which options we have and if we really only have these options or not. I tried to make it clear that I think, for example, like clothes and however you want to express yourself shouldn't be bound to like your gender identity. So you could be a man, like do like nail polish. It would be amazing, and I would love that. But there still seems to be an interest to it, and I'm trying all the time to research in my own behaviors what is society and what is biology. Like what is the background? What are the underlying desires that I have, and why do I have them? And how much is it because of identifying with a gender group which often acts a certain way and expresses themselves a certain way, so I'm like trying to fit in, or I'm like happy that I can finally count myself as part of that or something, and how much maybe this group also does act like that and I also do act like that because we are just like this, you know? So what's the balance of that? And I'm just observing myself, and I just came back from the store again, and I thought it was just so very ridiculous how crazy gendered my interests are right now. And I'm not doing that on purpose, I'm just following my instinct of like, what do I think will make my home nicer, or what do I want to have around me? And it's just incredible how I had to take care not to even go into the kitschy direction. And kitsch would have been anyway an easy pitfall, because I was actually specifically looking for a distinct kind of ugly-ish color, which is because there's a person in my life who is turning 30, and for her birthday, first of all, I want to make her cake. So this is going to be important, like, you know, chocolate, marzipan, yay, pink stuff. Pink stuff has been really important in this, because she has a difficult relation to this specific color of like this old lady's pink. So I tried to find any kind of things in that color that can be like helpful and useful, and that can be a good no crap present. And I went through all these stores and just like looked at all these things that I could find in that color, and it really trimmed me in a certain direction. One thing is that, at least in today's time, this color is very much gendered female, which, as we all know, it hasn't always been, and pink has been the boys' color and blue has been the girls' color at one point. We all know that. Today, well, hot pink is like the little girl's color, and when you get old you have like this old pink. I tried to find all kinds of things that go into that color, and lipstick. Just things that had nothing to do with this birthday in the end. I just ended up buying that color, so I bought myself, I needed a little brush like to have in a bag, and suddenly I felt to have all these like essential oils to make my home nice, which is something that like men don't usually do. And then I found this little like lamp for this oil, which is also in that very specific color that you never know if it's like a nice color when it's raspberry enough, or it's just like this disgusting, I don't know, like it's a very fine line. But I just like found it ridiculous how super gendery, sexist stereotype the things are that I bought, that I just felt attracted to, that I felt I wanted to take them home. And anyway, like indulging in this capitalism, I'm not wanting to be this capitalist. I'm not wanting to have shopping be any important to me. And I'm like being still very specific in what I want to buy and what I want to have around me, but nevertheless this indulgence is so intense. I wrote to a friend like, you cannot believe it's ridiculous what kind of stuff I just bought. How come? I'm thinking like, what primed me is certainly the color. Then another thing that primed me is that I was looking for baking a cake, and I got into like I got into this mood of like baking, and baking had been, at least like home baking, of course, like not professional baking, because anything professional is always for the guys, but home baking is something like traditionally female. And then I see maybe that I'm moving myself into this headspace of really assuming a very traditional gender role that I think I want to be careful in what I'm doing. And of course it's good to go into it, but I need to just like observe, why am I doing that? I'm certainly also catching up on just like having had desires to have certain things, like a certain softness, certain beauty, certain kitschiness around me that is usually gendered female, and that I guess I didn't allow myself because I thought I have to be a guy and I have to like conform to that gender role. So there is a lot of catching up to do, and that's okay, you know, like, yeah, enjoy. Like you have any trans person coming out, and they will always like, be it in what they wear, they will always have like this slutty face where they dress up really like a whore often. And I don't know, it's like this over, I don't want to call it overcompensation, but it's really something that they have been missing something in their lives for too long. And then like you go and catch up with it, and you do all the things that you wished you would have done earlier. Also these nice candles. Another perspective to this, though, is like my pre-coming out tastes that had been about, say, drinks. Or like, I always like cocktails, I always like sweet things. And there's lots of girls, like cisgender or transgender girls, whatever, that really like beer. But nevertheless, like beer is this super like male gendered thing in any case. And I hate it, and I hate anything in that direction. I don't like these like male smells and perfumes and shower gels in deodorants. I always got like really positive feedback about these kinds of smells from, say, like girlfriends or like girls around me. They're like, oh, you smell so good. Like whenever I made myself go down under all the peer pressure and just like, okay, I'm gonna try liking it. And I really tried liking these typical male shower gel smells, when actually I really wanted to like have fruity things. And I forced myself to try to like it. It's like insane. And then I came to have this little conversation on Facebook with this old friend of mine. She has been like my closest, dearest friend in kindergarten, actually, like really back in the days. And it seems like already back then I had this queer dar. Also, my best friend in high school turned out later to be kind of trans, like gender non-conforming. And this like very first deep love of like sandbox kindergarten friendship, she also turned out to be lesbian. I was so happy when I heard about that. And she's like, oh, there's so much to this orientation versus gender soup. That's a whole different video. Like she's playing soccer for many years, and that's a traditionally male gendered thing, but yeah, I don't know. I hope to actually talk to her, maybe even like do an episode together with her about this whole thing, orientation and identity. Wow, yeah, whole new video. But what she was saying is that she was recently going also to one of these stores and bringing home some of these, what I just cannot stand, is like male shower gel smells, and she loves it. Like this is the right thing for her, and it is so fascinating. It's just so cool. I don't know how much gender is in her lesbianness, how much gender is there at all in liking certain smells, disliking certain smells. Is this gendered? Her brother, she said to me, called her something like, oh, the girl who always wanted to be a boy. And she said she actually disagrees, and she's identifying very much as female, and maybe a bit of both, but definitely not transgender. But still, that her brother said that, like the girl who wants to be a boy, it seems to me to indicate that things like characteristics that we usually gender, they do seem to come in some kind of packages. They seem to come together. You might certainly have someone who likes, like, who is, I don't know, whatever gender identity or sex they have, but who likes things that are usually like characteristics that we are gendering very masculine. And then they like one or few things that we usually gender very feminine. And I do know one cisgender male who really likes, for example, nail polish, and who really enjoys like the colors and yeah, that maybe is one example. But still, it seems like it is rare that somebody who has certain like non-gender conforming characteristics to them, then these characteristics won't be the only one. I'm thinking that I can observe that these are often just coming together in groups. So that seems to be that it's not about the characteristic itself. It is not maybe just a taste, but rather a whole identity thing below that, which expresses itself through tastes. Like my femininity might have expressed itself through me liking sweet drinks and like fruity shower gel smells and whatnot, you know? And maybe in my friend, it is her masculinity which expresses itself partly in these like tastes for masculine smells. And I can't get around that. I'm pretty sure her orientation towards more liking girls is something that is very closely related to gender. And not just hers, like anyone's. I really, really think that orientation and gender are super closely related. And I do definitely need to think about this more and make some separate video, because another friend of mine who identifies as a homosexual male, and he's male-bodied, male-assigned at birth, and he was questioning if trans is queer, because I describe myself as queer. And okay, I cannot go too deeply into this. It's a whole different topic. More about this another time. For now, it was about gender identity and tastes, gender identity and the things you like. It's a lot of questions. There's basically no answers, but there's observations, and I think I'm gonna keep looking, and I'm gonna keep trying to understand what is actually going on inside of me, and how much these shifts in my tastes and desires and what I want to have around me might have to do with having started estrogen, and how much they might have to do with allowing myself to be identifying as female, and how much they might have to do with all kinds of other things that I have no idea about. So yeah, it will stay interesting. Thank you for watching, and I know this hasn't been a video that gives a lot of answers, but I hope that it has inspired some question in you, and maybe you can also observe in yourself, what is your genderedness? What are your desires, and how do they relate to your identity, to your history, to maybe your sexual orientation as well? If you have thoughts, write me a comment. I would find it really interesting to see other people's perspective. And I hope here, my kindergarten sandbox friend, if you're seeing this, I would seriously want to like do some kind of, I don't know, interview, whatever, conversation maybe in an episode, or maybe we have to write it out. And no, let's do it. Let's like do it on video. That would be so awesome. Yeah, perspectives, different perspectives, and let's try to like find what's the underlying truth that is maybe a reality for all of us in giving space to different people's opinions and perspectives and experiences. And then maybe we can find out what are all the ingredients to our confusing gender soup. Because it's not just a social construct. Okay, bye!